Hey everyone, welcome to the Guiding You Forward podcast presented by Mountain America Credit Union, where we talk about all things financial related. And today we're talking about Social Security. And thankfully we have Sabrina with us. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi, Kristalina.
Yes, and Sabrina is our financial education program manager at Mountain America Credit Union. So if there is someone you want to learn about Social Security from, Sabrina is it. So Sabrina, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. It's a topic I love to talk about.
So you guys, before we get into this, make sure you hit that notification bell, subscribe to our channel so you can see all of our future content, and stay tuned through the end because Sabrina's going to share a common misconception that people make when it comes to taking out Social Security. So Sabrina, let's get into it.
Okay.
My mother was a stay-at-home mom, but my dad obviously was not stay-at-home. He worked. So she still qualified for Social Security because of him, right?
Because of him. Yeah, the government, I think they actually did a good job thinking through these things. And there is something called a spousal boost.
Okay.
And how it works is it's only the lower earning spouse is eligible. So in the case of your parents, certainly your mom is eligible. If your mom had worked but still earned less than your dad wouldn't get a boost off her.
Okay.
So it only goes to one person in the couple, and it's based on the person who gets the lower Social Security check.
Okay.
And it's usually the lower earner. And the spousal boost, remember I mentioned the term FRA, full retirement age?
Yeah.
So the spousal boost is based off individuals' full retirement age, the spouse and the one that's going to get the benefit.
Okay.
And so there's a little bit of a formula. So what are your parents' names?
Kent and Ella.
Okay.
Hey,
Kent
Mom and Dad.
Okay. We're just going to use them as an example. So it's based off Kent's half of his full retirement age benefit, right?
Okay.
So let's say for him, he was eligible at age 66 and 3 months, and his benefit is $2,000.
Okay.
It's based off half of that. 50% of that is $1,000. Your mom never worked, she would get the $1,000. That would be her boost.
Okay.
If your mom did work, then we subtract, let's say her Social Security, let's say she waited till her full retirement age to take it, and she received $750. Her check was $750. So then you take half of your dad's, $1,000, less $750. Her boost would be $250.
Okay.
And then if she waited, or if she didn't want to wait till her full retirement age to get the boost or whatever, there'd be a reduction factor. So it could be lower than that. But that's the general formula. It really helps out just the situation that you described that your parents were in.
Okay, awesome. So again, going back to two married people.
Yeah.
Let's say that, what happens when there are two married people, even previously married people involved? Like who gets what, right?
Oh, good question.
Because I know that can be kind of hairy.
Yeah. Here is another, that can be hairy, and people are like, I don't want my ex-spouse, if they're divorced, I don't want them to get my benefit. But
Yeah, I don't want them to get my benefit.
they're still provided for in the Social Security scheme.
Okay.
But it actually works out pretty well. So a divorced, lower earning spouse can pull off the ex's benefit. They get a ex-spousal boost, you could call it.
Okay.
A couple things, though, you need to qualify. You had to have been married for 10 years at least.
Okay.
You have to be at least 62. And you have to remain single.
Okay.
And if you're newly divorced, say under 2 years, your ex must be taking his or her benefits.
Okay.
If you've been divorced for 2 or more years, then you don't have to worry about what your ex is doing. But the spousal boost works the exact same way for ex-spouses. And the nice thing is, let's say I'm pulling off my ex-spouse. He would not even know. It doesn't impact his benefit at all. So I have spoken to people about this, and they say, what can I do to keep my ex-spouse from getting my benefits? And I say, well, you can't do anything. You could have 5 ex-spouses. And if you were married for 10 years to each of them, you could have 5 people pulling off your benefit, and you'd never know it. There's no reduction in your benefit. So again, the government did us a favor there. There's no fighting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We don't want fighting.
No.
Right? So how does that work with widows, widowers?
Yeah.
Kind of same deal? Or
Similar deal, but better, actually. The benefits are better. So for married couples and in the divorce situation, let's say I was of age and I'm married and I'm ready I want my spousal boost. Well, I can't have it unless I'm taking my own benefits. You can't just take, you used to be able to, but that window has pretty much closed. There's one tiny exception. But for the most part, I can't take my spousal boost unless I filed for my own benefit and my spouse has to be taking benefits. So in a widowed situation, they kind of did away with that rule. Number one, a widow or widower could pull off their deceased spouse's benefit as early as age 60.
Okay.
And they do not need to be pulling their own benefit. So what you can do is you can, let's say at age 60, you're widowed. You file for your deceased spouse's benefit. You can set yours aside and let it grow until age 70. So you can get those delayed retirement credits all the way up to 70. And maybe by the time you're 70, your benefit will be worth more than the widow benefit. You don't get both. So it's one or the other. And so it's really important for people who are in these situations to talk to somebody, a Social Security expert or a financial advisor. Like at Mountain America, we have Mountain America Investment Services. They have all the software available to calculate exactly what you would get in these situations. And does it make sense to hold off? Does it not?
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing I would add, the other difference is for widows or widowers, they're getting whatever the deceased spouse was getting. So in a retirement situation, let's say the deceased spouse actually waited till 70. Then they'll get that whole benefit.
Okay.
If they take it early, they'll get a little less. So if I'm married, my husband has passed away, he waited till 70 to start collecting his benefits. So he's really maxed it out, right? Well, then the calculation is going to be based off that maxed out benefit, unlike the spousal boost, which is based off the full retirement benefit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. So really, if you can, we should wait.
Yeah, but well, you know what? So number one, a lot of people can't afford to wait.
Okay.
So there's that. But you did say if we can, we should wait.
Yeah.
But there's also longevity to think about it. So if somebody let's say somebody was age 62 and they earned $50,000 a year for 30 years. And the calculation is going to change. These are general numbers. Their Social Security check at age 62 is going to be around $1,300. If their, say, twin brother or sister waited till 70 and they equally earned $50,000 over
50 years.
Or 30 years, their benefit is going to be a little more than $1,000 more than their friend or twin that took it at 62. And so you might say, well, that's what I mean. We should wait, right?
Yeah.
Well, what if longevity doesn't last in your family?
Yeah.
So the twin who took it at age 62, by the time the other twin at age 70 gets around to taking it, they've earned $131,000 from Social Security. So you need to live long enough to say it was worth saying bye-bye to that $131,000. So you need to think about, no one can predict how long you'll live, but you should take a hard look at your own health and your family's health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
My parents' situation, my mom did earn enough to get her own Social Security check, but it was much, much smaller than my dad's. And from a health perspective, my dad, not quite as healthy as my mom, and they always assumed that my mom would live a long time and my dad just wouldn't. And he was really worried about when he passed away, she would be left with a very small benefit. So what they decided to do was he decided to work until age 70, even though he didn't want to, but he did to keep his delayed retirement credits growing so that he would have the biggest check available for that day when he passed away. My mom would be sure to get a nice widow's benefit.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, what happened is my mom got pancreatic cancer, and she she predeceased my dad. My dad is still alive.
Yeah.
So you can plan all you want. And sometimes it just, it's a shame because I think my father really would have enjoyed retiring early, but you can only do what the numbers tell you to do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's the hard thing. So important to then get an advisor and kind of talk through those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. So if I decide to take Social Security, can I still work? What is that? Well, how does that work?
You can, and there are some limitations.
Okay.
So every year it changes, but let's just say there's going to be a maximum that you can earn before Social Security starts reducing your payments.
Okay.
So if it's before the year that you reach full retirement age, there's a income maximum. After that income maximum, for every $2 you earn above that, Social Security is going to withhold $1 of your check.
Okay.
The year you reach full retirement age, that income maximum goes up significantly.
Okay.
And then for every $3 you earn above that, they're going to reduce your check by $1.
Okay.
And then when you turn your full retirement age, again, for you, that'd be 67.
Right.
Hands off. You can work and earn your check.
Okay.
Yeah. The interesting thing is you do sort of get the money back eventually. And so what Social Security does is, let's say you have retired at age 62 and you continue to work and you do earn a little bit more than that maximum. So they're withholding benefits. Once you reach your full retirement age, they kind of pay you back in the form of delayed retirement credits. So if the money they withheld is, say, equal to 3 months of benefits, then they'll say, no, you didn't. They'll pretend that instead of retiring at age 62, you retired at age 62 and 3 months. So for the rest of your life, your checks actually are a little higher.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah, it is nice. At least you kind of get it back, but it is in the form of delayed retirement credits.
Okay. Now you said something that I have a question about. You said if you retire but continue to work.
Oh,
how does that work?
Yeah, actually.
Can you retire and continue to work?
So I guess I should say when you retire, I just mean when you pull benefits.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So, but you could, let's say you retire from Mountain America and you start pulling your Social Security benefits and you decide you've always wanted to be an assistant librarian and you get a job as an assistant librarian. Technically, you're retired from Mountain America. You're pulling Social Security benefits and you're earning from the library system.
So that's
kind of what I meant. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That makes it a lot more sense.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Is my Social Security check tax-free?
Maybe.
Okay. Tell us more.
A significant portion of probably the majority, just over half, are taxed in the United States. There are income limits. It varies whether you're filing, married or joint. But sadly, even though this is a benefit we've paid taxes into, it can be taxed. And it's been this way since the Reagan administration.
Okay.
The good news is if your Social Security check is taxed, you can feel a little bit better because the tax on your Social Security benefits goes right back into the Social Security system. So it does.
Okay.
It goes only to this program, which is kind of nice. And again, it is income-based. You could have between 50 and 85% of your benefit taxed. So it is a bummer. Even an extra bummer, some states will also tax your check.
Good grief.
Yes, and you and I live in one.
Perfect. Oh, dear. Okay.
Yeah,
so something to think about as we're doing that income retirement and planning. And
this is another area that you actually should see a tax professional because it is not quite crystal clear.
Okay.
It's based on your adjusted gross income plus half of your Social Security check. And there's a lot of factors that go into adjusted gross income. So you do need to see a tax professional to figure this out.
Okay. All right. So as we're income planning for those retirement ages, not only, an investment retirement professional, but probably a tax expert too.
Probably. And it would be probably easy for them to calculate. Yeah, you're going to be hit at the 50% mark or the 85% mark, or no, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. When it comes to Social Security, which is a tongue twister, by the way, anything else we need to know?
I would say two things. Number one, like I said, speak to somebody who has the software, a wealth advisor that can really help you income plan. Because Social Security is important. It's going to be part of your income, and you want to get it right. You don't want to enter in too early because you only get one mulligan.
Yeah.
So if you enroll, you can disenroll in your first year only once, and only in that first year. Yeah.
Okay.
So get it right. Speak to an expert. Second thing I'd suggest is go on to secure.ssa.gov.
Okay.
And sign up for an account. A couple reasons you want an account. It used to be your Social Security statements would be mailed to you. They don't do that anymore unless you're over 60.
Okay.
You want to monitor that they have the right income for you. It'll also give you an estimate on what you're going to earn. Their best guess if you retired at 62, your full retirement age, or age 70. And the new statements that are coming out will show you an estimate for what you'll earn every year, 62, 63, 64, all the way up to 70. So they're much nicer.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
The other reason you want an account is if you are collecting Social Security today and you don't have an account, let's say you want to buy a house. Well, your lender is going to need an income statement. And if you have an account with secure.ssa.gov, you can pull an income statement right then and there. You can print out new Medicare cards too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what age should I be signing up for this account?
I say now. Because what if there's a mistake?
Yeah.
What if you earned X last year and you see your statement, it says you earned nothing? Mistakes do happen.
Yeah.
But also, I think, at our age, we're looking into retirement, right? We want a better plan. And it's good to know, well, what does the government think they're going to pay me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can make it part of your own income plan.
Okay. I love that. So that web address, one more time for us, Sabrina.
It's secure.ssa.gov.
Okay. Awesome. You're talking about finding a wealth advisor and how that's important. What's the best way to find one?
Well, of course, I'm going to recommend the wealth advisors at Mountain America Investment Services, right? So if you go to macu.com, click on the investment tab, and then click Meet the Team. You can search by your local branch, your neighborhood, and it'll bring up the wealth advisors in your area. You can actually schedule an appointment with them.
Awesome.
Right there online.
So once I go to macu.com and find my wealth advisor, how much does it cost for me to meet with them?
Oh, that's the best part. It is free.
Oh, yeah. For everyone?
Yes. For members and non-members, they're happy to do a consultation for free.
Okay, awesome. All right, Sabrina. So before we wrap up here, what is the common misconception that people have regarding working and taking Social Security?
Well, a lot of people think if you work and you take Social Security, your Social Security benefits will be reduced, and that's that. And that's partially true, but only partially.
Okay.
So there are income limits before you reach your full retirement age where Social Security will take, depending on the income limits and depending on how old you are, $1 for either every $2 or $3 you earn over that income limit.
Right.
However, all is not necessarily lost.
Okay.
So some folks take their Social Security and frankly, they really want to work or maybe need to work, but think they can't because they're worried about their check being reduced. Your check will be reduced, but in the long run, you do sort of get it back in the form of delayed retirement credits. So if you retire at, say, age 62, and you make more than that income limit, Social Security is going to reduce your check again for each $2 you earn over that income limit. They're going to reduce your check by $1.
Okay.
And let's say over time, right up until you reach what would have been your full retirement age, they've collected enough money from you, meaning they've pulled enough out of your check to equal 10 months of what your checks would have been. Then what happens is when you reach that full retirement age, they're going to say, you didn't actually retire at 62, you retired at 62 and 10 months. and they'll pay you as such for the rest of your life. And as we
Wow.
talked about, you get delayed retirement credits for every month you put off collecting that benefit after 62.
Okay. So there are lots of ins and outs.
Yeah, there are a lot of ins and outs, but if you need to work, eventually you're going to get it back in the form of delayed retirement credits, which means higher checks in your future.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you guys heard it from Sabrina. There are higher checks in the future. We love Sabrina. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been great. Thank you.
Yes. And thanks all of you for joining as well. And please be sure to subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and we will see you on the next episode of Guiding You Forward.